Mm. Okay, so I'm just being told, one sentence pretty much so far, that you have released, like the collective is releasing or has released, fear of authenticity, fear of truth. And you might have created very, very dense 3D experiences in order to feel and see the contrast. Fear of your own emotions and your own feelings. What?
The deepest emotions and fears. Where are you at now?
Oh, I'm just being shown all these, like my own personal, relatable scenarios of how, do you know a crisscross sort of like piece of lattice,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
wooden lattice, or and if somebody's sitting behind that, you can see them, but you're also missing so much. They said to me, you just had a person at your home for 4 days who knows very, very, very little about you, because he's got like maybe 2 pieces of lattice a bit off, like his holes to be able to see through the other side are much, much lesser few, thinner, smaller. So they're just showing me how what's happened over the past few days is these fears of authenticity, fear of truth, fear of emotions, fear of feelings. All we've collectively we've been given okay, so when I say past tense, it's not done, being given a lift with this understanding that there's no need to fear these things. It would, in actual fact, being fearful, not knowing about these things.
Mine evolved into this spiral of, it was my mother, right? And there was like this spiral attached to me. And it was your deepest fear. And she came up out of nowhere, your deepest fears, your deepest emotions. And it showed me my unconscious fear of her, like the whole mother child, and this was all very energetic, very fast. And that deep down I did. But it also showed me my deepest emotion, how much I loved her. And this was how the whole thing played out throughout the life. That's what that evolved to for me. Keep going. So if there's a lattice up, from one person's view to the other, is there a lattice up both ways?
Yes, but the distance, like sometimes it can be equally. If the person who's standing right next to the lattice, they've got a bigger vision. The person that's further away can see less and less of the person closest to the lattice. So each person is going to be on the opposite side of the lattice, and it can be 50-50, 55-45, 60-40. They stand where they stand. And so I'm being shown that this it's like an atlas, like a big group of, you remember me talking about the veils getting more and more holes in it?
Mm-hmm.
So our vision. So I felt an upgrade happen in the third eye. I felt an upgrade happen in the throat chakra, the solar plexus, the heart chakra, and the higher heart chakra. I've been watching them just gently, like as you let the visions come in, see it go out, come in, see it go out. Like you just let them flow, like either the slats or the wood on the ladder are getting thinner, or like the veil's opening up, the clarity, the ability, the courage and trust and faith in the power of truth. So it's like humanity, the collective, are choosing, no matter what, a higher frequency of truth, and having the exact right external mirror or experience in whatever degree they need to see the polar extreme. Wow.
What?
I don't even know how to explain that. Okay, so imagine like a dome over you, and it's got a few holes in it. It's latticey, and the holes have been getting a bit bigger and a bit bigger. and then getting to the point where you can see through so much more clearly, then what you see is another network of an artificial intelligence dome that's set up at the moment around the planet from the controllers, from the ones that knew all of this, took it all for themselves and made the population blind to it. So when you start seeing through your own little universal dome of your immediate circle and break out enough, then you'll see that the next dome that you're going to disconnect from or break away from, to the degree that you wish to, is that artificial intelligence dome. So imagine within that dome, as everyone really breaks through and starts to see it and then starts taking responsibility for it and breaking down now this bigger dome, this dome built, intentionally built, like a big web over all of it. Once all the little domes wake up and bust through their own domes, then they start saying, right, now we're going to consciously connect to those and break those down. Are you getting this, Todd?
Yes.
This is just mind-blowing watching it. So it's like as the fear of one's own feelings or one's own emotions, once all that drops away, you pretty much say yes, please, to a higher frequency of love. And when that happens, the dome that you had around you, your own veil, gets more and more and more and more holes through it, and so your vision becomes stronger. And then you see it all repeated again in a bigger, more powerful, larger dome that was over everything.
Yeah, that's becoming apparent. It's being seen by more and more people, and it's being presented.
Yeah. So it's almost like we've broken through enough that the powers that we've been playing with and anchoring and starting to understand, getting a little bit bigger or a little bit higher or a little bit more, then they became powerful enough to break through their own outer dome, like a webbing, a huge circular thing over them. They've broken through enough to see, oh my God, there's a bigger one up there, and that is the artificial web of separation and duality. The ones that the humans discovered and stole and kept for their own.
Well, it has to be done the same way as, with the the lattice between people and the lattice between this bigger dome.
Yeah. Yes.
So that means the holes have to get bigger.
The holes are getting bigger because that was the veil. As it's disintegrating, the gaps or the holes are getting bigger and bigger. And then we're seeing more and more and more. And then we're remembering what we have to do, how we have to do it. And at the same time, it's squeezing again through the eye of the needle. So it's like really thinking about, well, what can I bring through this tiny little eye with me? The smaller I am and the more pure I am, the cleaner seed that I become to enter the newer frequency, the new dimension, the new grid.
Did you say something about a third eye activation? Third eye?
Yes.
Okay. Nice to see you.
Did you experience a third eye activation?
Yeah, this is the most important thing we can do. Yeah, I've been watching the whole thing. Every chakra, and many. I don't think that's the word, but many, and then when they all came together, him and her, essentially. I mean, to the third eye, visually watching it, and from the eye, just explodes. And I was watching all the information, and I was watching the almost like prophecy. Um, so I would say like this year, next year, how this is just going to continue and continue. So the personal, um, like the personal development of people like us is going to go through the roof. But the dystopian, the the world is going to get really distorted. And so what I understood was that this type of uh, connection, this type of it's like a more than a code exchange, like a power up. And because of the like you're talking about the lattices, because of the vision that comes with it's I guess going to be like a superpower, help us immensely to be able to negotiate, you know, things and be confident, in our steps and powerful, regardless of what's happening. I also watched kind of like a visual of the way things work. And so a masculine energy can, like from the heart center, from pure intention, project onto essentially his muse, right? And I was watching how even if the human doesn't feel it, that the soul feels it. And in the field that we're in right now, um, and this can happen energetically, I guess, in many, many ways. Her frequency feels it. It's like a bee pollinating a flower, right? And her frequency goes up. So I was being shown that too, how the feminine frequency is going up and up, and the information's coming in, and it's starting to be constructed, like understood and accepted and followed. We should ask some questions if it presents itself to you.
What, a question?
We should ask some questions if if it presents itself to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting again like it did last time. The energy running up the right leg into the groin, and then down to the left leg.
I haven't got that, but when you said it, I was shown a picture. Imagine two domes back to back. So at some point in the near future, it's like we come out of our own domes, and instead of going into another dome, we're now like almost like in a bowl, an amplified area.
Yeah, when you were talking about the domes earlier, when I woke up, I had that incident where I was in a dome, in the middle of a soccer field. And so whenever that information came in, while you were talking about it, reminded me of it. I was shown that we were all a dome, and I was shown how the domes were connected, and I was shown how domes would kind of like intercede with each other, and there would be a part of two domes that both would share. So it was kind of strange when you started talking about that, because I started to see the domes within the domes within the domes within the domes. And then, of course, what you were saying, this collective dome that represents all those, we come out of it. There's that other dome, which is what you said, AI, the construct.
I mean, I don't know much about artificial intelligence, but when I think of AI, or when they were showing me that, it was like the man-made stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
That came in and
Well,
became like an umbrella between ourselves and the sun. Like, yeah.
so yes. So the AI basically, and it's not like AI like we think of, like phones or other things like that, although they have the potential, obviously. But okay, so it's not that the AI is going to be smarter than us, because these people that put up this big dome, they used their level of intelligence and their access to technology to create AI that was smarter than us. So we're actually moving ahead. That's what they've been afraid of. But this type of connection, like even like the groups, like you said, groups will start happening all over the world, or even two people. This is, I mean, what I'm getting tonight, what I was getting earlier, is that this is how we can break through. It's really through knowing, through seeing, I guess, like you said, with the holes get really big and you see it, and just by that awareness, it becomes a whole new thing. But
Nothing. I'm just scratching my nose.
I didn't know if I was going to say it, but then I heard a knock 3 times. Can't make this up.
I
I
heard
heard
it.
the word.
What's the a
I heard the
knock?
word. Yeah, I heard. It was on a distant wall over here. Dun dun dun. I heard the word transfiguration, and then I was reminded, like it came to me earlier today. Not so much the word, but what really what you were explaining. The awareness is becoming very obvious very quickly. This dome you're talking about that was set up, and it was set up with AI, and so what happens is in that awareness, I guess you could say we receive so much code, we see it for what it is, and that whole thing that you're talking about, truth, becomes something we can't do anything but, right?
Hmm.
And earlier today, and it came back, I saw, I guess you could say I saw like the body, I saw the transfiguration occur. And I went, oh wow, that's trippy. Oh, oh. I'm having the strangest thing happen to me. Am I interrupting?
What? I know.
So all that energy had gone up into my solar plexus, and then it went in, like just straight into my heart after a while, and just like I've never felt before. It feels physical, almost, and does really. And then it went up into my throat, like my larynx, and then it went up into the top of my throat, onto the left side of my body, into feels like a gland or something. Like I could feel and see the nerves, the like they look like tree roots, and it's like making its now it's making its rounds, or all through my throat, and now like almost right up into the back of my tongue. It's not quite that far, but can you sense any of that? What the fuck is that?
Well, it sounds like an activation of some sort. No, I wasn't having any of that.
I don't know if something was being pulled out or what. I have a question.
Well,
What are you doing?
what do you mean? What am I doing?
What were you getting? Do you remember?
I've just got all these like little, no, like all these little. When you talk loud like that, it shocks me, and like everything disappears. Um,
Oh,
um, like scenarios, like examples of what it used to look like, and then it goes over and like replays it in a different way, what it will look like. Why did you ask?
I just wondered. I wondered, and because I just that thing continued, and it was it was very painful, and I was just understanding that it was re- like deep masculine stuff, right? Which was a bit
Mhm.
shocking, and because when it started in the lower chakras, and it was, I wouldn't say it was orgasmic, but it was pleasurable. It felt good. And then as it moved up, it got very, very almost like a solid feeling. But it went through this whole process all up through, and it every part, left, right, left, right, left, right. But then I understood it was this masculine thing, and it felt like something was getting pulled out, but it was actually, I guess you would say, activation. And it was into every tooth, everything, every muscle, every nerve. And so the reason I said I have a question is because I was going to ask you, are you feeling anything about the masculine,
No,
or you hadn't seen anything about that?
no, no, not at all. I'm just being shown what we're coming out of and what it's going to look like. And they're showing me so many scenarios where I actually made conscious choices in the moments. And then other bits where I wasn't conscious at all. Like they're showing me um, what living fearlessly truthfully looks like.
Yeah, sure.
And so it's almost like there's a huge foundational piece of the self dying in order for this to happen.
What to happen?
Pardon?
What to happen? I understood the rest of it, but you said for this to happen.
To raise frequency towards truth.
Right.
So what we've been going through is releasing all of the things that have prevented us from being able to handle the truth, because it comes with feelings and emotions and potential hurt, or things like that. So I'm just being shown what I was doing in the last 4 days is seeing the two extremes of it, living the two extremes of it all at once. In order to neutralize my programs. Still active of anything associated with fear of the truth.
What the hell?
Huh.
What the hell? What's going on? Were you talking
I
in your
don't.
sleep?
No,
Huh?
I'm not asleep.
It sounded like you were talking in your sleep or something. Like it was okay. What happened?
I don't know. There was this like a huge big cross, and I was moving closer to this cross, and it sort of shocked me and made me like do that, but it came through my nose instead of my mouth.
What did it look like?
It almost looked like an upside down sword. Like the
And
crossy part was low.
and what? Okay. And what did the coloring look like? Like the color, the background color, and the cross color.
Um, well, I don't know. I didn't pay attention to those bits.
Well, because I saw one earlier, and it came in real strong. This was probably 20 minutes ago, and it was kind of this goldish. It was dark, like the background was kind of like blackish, but the cross itself was more like a not a Christian cross. It was lower, and one side was this golden color, not like the cross, but like, and the other side was a dark like a black. And I don't know what you were saying at the time. or if what was being said, I think something was being said, and it had to do with basically speaking, directing your truth, living your truth, living truth, um, pursuing truth, whatever, and how that's like really expands a person as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this figure, when I saw it, and I was trying to stay with you, and was this here? Was it, it's like that figure that I was showing you the other day, because there's an ankh in it and there's a cross, but it's not the ankh of the cross, because I went and looked at the ankh. So I don't know what that is. And I showed it to you, said, draw it. And I tried to draw it. Yeah. So I don't know what that's about. I think ornate is the word too. It was very ornate. Did you get anything from the cross?
No, because you said what was like I haven't had a chance to go back to it. I've been listening to you, but it was like a cross almost upside down. But I understood that was up like a reflection. It was. What was that?
What's that?
That noise.
I can't hear again.
Really?
I got it by the ear now. I can hear now.
Okay. I can see a field of what are they called? You know those things you blow, and then all the little seeds go off into the wind.
Yeah.
Right. So you pick it up, you blow it, and so I can see this field of everyone represented as one of those things, and this goes. Like the wind comes and blows this away, like all those seeds around us were blocking our view, to be reconfigured, to be to transform into a newer, higher vibrational, higher frequency seed. And I'm being told this is to include the synchronicities and the serendipities and the nuances and the energy speaking to us will become louder. We can see it more clearly. We can feel it more clearly. We can telepathize it more clearly. Like there's been a real stripping away of anything of fear of truth, fear of authenticity, fear of being seen. Did you pause then?
What was that?
Did you just pause it?
No, I was fixing the speaker. It's working now.
Okay.
So I had it muted while I was fixing it.
What?
Hmm.
What happened?
Nothing I sighed. What do you get?
That it's huge. That it's absolutely huge, and it's going to be exhausting. Integrating it. Any help of lots of water, fasting,
Yep.
meditating,
Yep.
sleeping is going to help it all.
Now, what are you talking about in terms of what it is? And is there like a time?
Well, we're partway through it.
Okay.
Yep, we're partway through it. So,
Because, yeah, that fits with everything I'm getting. I'm also being shown that okay, so the level of memory swipe is far greater than we thought. Like even up to
the
50
level of what?
memory swipe,
Yep.
like our memory swipe, not so much from where we came from, but from the actual earth incarnation. Even our innate memory of the story of the human itself. But even like 100 years ago, there's stuff that's not even can hardly even be found. Like, I mean, they're so severe, these memory swipes, almost like there was, say, 50 major metropolitan areas in, I don't know, 1890. And by 1910, there was no record of them left at all. Like the control, think of the control of the internet, like what can be put out there, what's left out there, and think about it when there wasn't an internet and all the institutions and everything was controlled. But anyway, without going too deep, I was being shown the level of awareness that's going to come into us is going to it's going to create a greater emphasis on our collective, um, on the collective, on us as brothers and sisters, as opposed to like just simple pursuit of what you want only. It's the Trinity energy. But anyway, it was just showing me the magnitude of it and how it wasn't, it was also showing me how people, they won't even be at a level where they'll be pissed off because the information is, that's just the trivial part of it. It's what's actually opening up. And I think that's what you're talking about with the massiveness of what's coming in. And you say we're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Hmm. Did you say that people will live to the truth to the point of they would give up their life? Did you say that earlier?
Oh, something. Well, I didn't say life, but I did say yes.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
saying,
Yeah. Okay, so
they can't move forward when untruths are sitting there. Like
right.
it's such a significant part of love, which is part of flow, which is part of oneness. Any blockages to truth will actually keep the flow from happening, keep the alignments from coming, keep the manifesting the new dreams. So yeah. Yeah, so your body, your environment, your affairs, your immediate own environment. Pictures of, things that are out of balance or anything left in your space that you're not particularly loving, or the polar extreme of, missing from it, non-present to actually see what's there around you. It's going to be more presence, more aligned, more connected.
How long? How long does this last?
Hours, days. Like it's like this is
This first part.
hours. Yeah, this is the foundation. And you might find over the coming weeks other bits and pieces that need to be removed in order to align with it. But you're releasing and letting go of everything. You're tidying up your physical, your immediate area, your immediate space. You're tidying everything up so it all reflects, the higher frequency seed when you push through the other side. Then you might create tests for yourself, like I did with Nick over the last 4 days.
Mm. Mm. I think I'm done.
Okay.
So, 2 hours. How does that
It's
happen?
good.